These aren't just people, they're nature's miracles. With such rare physical features, you'll find yourself asking, is this even possible? These are individuals who leave even science speechless. Get ready to witness some of the most astonishing humans ever born, each one a living wonder beyond imagination. Taylor Maul, born on November 5, 1983, is a singer, dancer, model, and advocate from Hollywood, California, best known for living with a rare genetic condition called human chimera. This occurs when two fraternal twins fuse in the womb, resulting in one person with two distinct sets of DNA. In Taylor's case, she absorbed her twin in utero, and the condition is visibly reflected by a striking midline down her torso, one side lighter, the other darker, which was long mistaken for a birthmark for much of her life. She suffered from unexplained autoimmune issues, including fatigue, chronic pain, endometriosis, food and metal sensitivities, and neurological symptoms. In 2009, genetic testing finally confirmed that she has tetragametic chimerism, meaning she has two immune systems and two bloodstreams, one for herself and one from her absorbed twin. This rare condition, with only a small number of documented human cases worldwide, explains her complex and often conflicting health reactions. In 2017, Taylor publicly revealed her diagnosis on the television show The Doctors, becoming the first entertainer to do so. The segment went viral and launched her into the public eye as an advocate for chimerism awareness and autoimmune health. Since then, she has been featured in the New York Times, People, Women's Health, BuzzFeed News, and other outlets, using her story to promote body positivity and self-acceptance professionally. Taylor trained in dance and music and has worked with industry veterans such as Randy Jackson, Berry Gordy Jr., and vocal coach Valerie Morehouse. She released a music video in 2015 and continues to pursue performance and modeling, while advocating for greater understanding of invisible illnesses and rare conditions. Stefan Bibrowski, born in 1890 near Warsaw, Poland, then part of the Russian Empire, was a sideshow performer best known by his stage name, Lionel the Lion-Faced Man. He lived with a rare genetic condition called hypertrichosis, which caused abnormal hair growth over most of his body. At birth, his body was already covered in fine hair, and by age 10, the hair on his face had grown up to 8 inches long. The only areas unaffected were the palms of his hands and the soles of his feet. A popular legend, likely invented for publicity, claimed that his mother abandoned him after believing that his condition was caused by seeing his father mauled by a lion while she was pregnant. Around the age of 4, Bibrowski was taken in by a German showman named Sedlmayr, who began exhibiting him in traveling shows throughout Europe. Sedlmayr gave him the stage name Lionel and shaped the narrative that he was part human, part beast. Despite his appearance, Stefan was intelligent, soft-spoken, and multilingual, reportedly fluent in 5 languages. He often surprised audiences with his gentle demeanor, articulate speech, and refined manners, which stood in stark contrast to his wild image. In 1901, he joined the Barnum and Bailey Circus in the United States and performed across the country, gaining widespread attention and becoming one of the most recognizable figures in the sideshow world. In the 1920s, he settled in New York City and continued performing at Coney Island's Dreamland Circus. After retiring in the late 1920s, he returned to Germany, where he lived a quieter life. Stefan Bibrowski died of a heart attack in Berlin in 1932 at the age of 41 or 42. Lizzie Velasquez, born on March 13, 1989, in Austin, Texas, is an internationally recognized motivational speaker, author, YouTuber, and anti-bullying activist who has become a powerful symbol of resilience, courage, and self-worth. She was born with an extremely rare congenital condition known as Marfanoid progeroid lipodystrophy syndrome, a disorder so uncommon that only a handful of people in the world are known to have it. This condition prevents her body from storing fat and gaining weight, regardless of how much she eats, and has also affected her eyesight. She is blind in her right eye and has limited vision in her left. From early childhood, Lizzie faced intense bullying and social isolation due to her appearance. However, it was in her teenage years that she was subjected to an especially cruel form of cyberbullying. An anonymous YouTube video labeling her the world's ugliest woman went viral. Rather than let this hateful act define her, Lizzie made a decision that would change her life and inspire millions. She chose to speak out. She turned the experience into a mission to combat bullying and advocate for compassion and inclusion. Her 2013 TEDx talk, titled "How Do You Define Yourself?" became a viral success and marked a turning point in her public career. In the talk, Lizzie spoke candidly about her condition, her experiences with bullying, and how she refused to let other people's opinions define her identity. The video resonated deeply with audiences around the world and has been viewed millions of times. She continued to gain recognition through her 2015 documentary, A Braveheart: The Lizzie Velasquez Story, which chronicled her journey from victim of online abuse to global activist. Over the years, Lizzie has authored several books, including Lizzie Beautiful, Be You, Choosing Happiness, and Dare to Be Kind. These works explore themes of inner beauty, self-acceptance, emotional resilience, and kindness, messages she has carried into classrooms, conferences, and television appearances across the world. She has been featured in numerous media outlets and has shared stages with figures such as Malala Yousafzai and Michelle Obama. Zhenhuan, born in Liaoning Province, China around 1977, is widely known as China's hairiest man due to a rare genetic condition called congenital generalized hypertrichosis terminalis. This condition causes excessive hair growth over almost his entire body, about 96%, leaving only the palms of his hands and the soles of his feet unaffected. He began growing thick hair at the age of 2, including inside his ears and nostrils, which eventually caused health issues such as partial hearing loss and infections. Throughout his childhood, Yu faced bullying and isolation because of his appearance. For a time he was reluctant to leave his home, but as he grew older he began to embrace his uniqueness. He trained as a singer, acted in films, and launched a career in entertainment, where he used his appearance not only as a point of fascination, but also as a platform to share a message of confidence and acceptance. He even received recognition from the Guinness World Records for his condition. In adulthood, Yu underwent medical treatments, including surgery and laser hair removal, to reduce the health impacts of his condition and to improve his comfort. He once auditioned for the role of the Monkey King in a television series, undergoing cosmetic surgery in hopes of winning the part, though he did not get it. Despite this, he continued to perform as a musician under the stage name King Kong, releasing music and appearing in public to advocate for self-expression and against discrimination. Yu also spoke of starting a foundation to support people with rare conditions and disabilities, aiming to turn his experience into a source of hope and strength for others. His story is one of resilience, transforming what once caused suffering into a distinctive identity and career. Mandy Sellars, born in 1975 in Lancashire, England, is a British woman known for living with an extremely rare medical condition that causes abnormal and excessive growth in her legs and feet. For much of her life, her condition was thought to be Proteus syndrome, the same disorder once attributed to Joseph Merrick, the Elephant Man. However, after years of medical investigation, it was discovered in 2013 that she has a mutation in the PIK3CA gene, placing her in a group of disorders known as PIK3CA-related overgrowth spectrum pros. From a young age, Mandy's legs began to grow disproportionately large, even as the rest of her body remained a typical size. By adulthood, her legs alone weighed over 200 pounds. In 2010, due to complications from infections, doctors were forced to amputate her left leg, yet, in a remarkable turn, the remaining limb began to grow again, highlighting the persistence of the genetic mutation. Mandy became widely known through documentaries that followed her journey, such as Extraordinary People, The Woman with Giant Legs, and Shrinking My 17-Stone Legs. Despite the physical challenges she faces daily, Mandy lives independently, drives a specially adapted car, and uses mobility aids. She has taken part in experimental treatments, including medication typically used in cancer therapies, which have shown promise in slowing or partially reversing the growth of her affected limbs. Her story is one of remarkable perseverance. Instead of retreating from public view, she has used her condition to raise awareness for others with rare genetic disorders. Through interviews, advocacy, and founding a support group, Mandy has become an inspiring figure for those facing similar medical challenges. Joseph Merrick, often mistakenly referred to as Joseph Morrick, was born on August 5, 1862, in Leicester, England. He became widely known as the Elephant Man due to severe physical deformities that began appearing in early childhood. Though he seemed healthy at birth, by age 5 abnormal growths developed on his skin and bones. His head grew disproportionately large, his right arm became enlarged and useless, and thick tumor-like skin covered parts of his body. Modern researchers believe he likely had Proteus syndrome, a rare genetic disorder causing abnormal tissue overgrowth. Merrick's early life was marked by hardship. His mother, to whom he was deeply attached, died when he was 11. His father soon remarried, and Merrick was treated harshly by his stepmother. Unable to support himself due to his condition, he entered the Leicester Union workhouse at 17. Seeking a better life, he eventually left and began working in freak shows in the 1880s, billed as half a man and half an elephant, though humiliating. The exhibitions allowed him to earn a living and gain a measure of independence. On 1884, he was discovered by Dr. Frederick Treves, a surgeon at the London hospital. After a brief examination and a return to the freak show circuit, Merrick was abandoned in Belgium during a failed European tour. He returned to London in a desperate state, and Treves arranged for him to live at the London hospital. Public donations funded his care, and he spent the last few years of his life in relative peace. Despite his physical challenges, Merrick was intelligent, sensitive, and creative. He enjoyed reading, building models, writing letters, and even met members of royalty who were moved by his dignity and gentleness. Joseph Merrick died on April 11, 1890, at the age of 27, most likely from asphyxiation caused by the weight of his head as he attempted to sleep lying down, something he usually avoided. His story continues to inspire empathy and respect, challenging perceptions of disability and difference. His life has been depicted in plays, books, and the 1980 film The Elephant Man, ensuring his legacy endures as a symbol of humanity and resilience. Abul Bajandar, born in 1990 in Kuna, Bangladesh, is known globally as the Tree Man due to a rare and extremely debilitating skin condition called epidermidis versiformis. This inherited disorder makes the body highly susceptible to certain strains of the human papillomavirus HPV, leading to the uncontrolled growth of wart-like lesions that resemble tree bark. The condition is so rare that only a handful of cases have been documented worldwide. Abul first noticed small growths on his hands and feet in his mid-teens. Over the years, these lesions began to multiply and harden, eventually transforming into massive bark-like structures that engulfed his fingers, palms, and feet. By the time he was in his mid-20s, the growths had made it impossible for him to work as a rickshaw driver, or even carry out basic daily tasks like eating, washing, or holding his child. In 2016, Abul's story drew national and international attention. He was admitted to Dhaka Medical College Hospital, where a medical team led by plastic surgeons undertook a long and complex treatment plan. Over the course of about 2 years, he underwent more than 20 operations, during which doctors removed over 5 kilograms of wart tissue. His progress was celebrated when, for the first time in years, he was able to use his hands again and hold his young daughter. Unfortunately, the relief was short. By 2018, the growths began to return, more aggressively than before. The condition caused him severe, constant pain. In 2019, overwhelmed and desperate, Abul publicly requested that doctors amputate both his hands to free him from his suffering. Despite continued treatment, including further surgeries, the condition remains incurable. Abul Bajandar's story is both tragic and inspiring. He has shown remarkable strength and resilience in the face of immense physical and emotional challenges. His case remains of great medical interest, not only for its rarity but also for the insight it offers into the limits of current medical science and the human capacity to endure. Supatra Nati Sasuphan was born on August 5, 1999, in Pranakum, a district in Bangkok, Thailand. From the moment she entered the world, it was clear she was different. Her face and body were covered in thick hair, something that puzzled doctors and worried her parents. Eventually, she was diagnosed with a condition so rare that fewer than 50 cases have ever been recorded in medical history: Ambrose syndrome, also known as werewolf syndrome. Ambrose syndrome is a genetic condition that causes excessive hair growth all over the body, except the palms of the hands and soles of the feet. In Supatra's case, hair covered her face, ears, arms, legs, and back, giving her the appearance of being permanently covered in fur. As she grew older, this unusual feature drew attention, much of it unwanted. In 2010, at the age of 11, she was officially recognized by the Guinness World Records as the world's hairiest girl. While this brought international attention, it also opened up conversations about genetic disorders and beauty standards. Supatra took the attention in stride. She embraced who she was and never allowed her condition to define her worth. Doctors tried laser hair removal treatments, but the hair would always grow back, often even thicker than before. So instead, she and her family settled on trimming and shaving the hair when necessary, especially around her eyes and mouth to help with vision and comfort. Later, as a young adult, Supatra made the personal choice to shave her facial hair. This change surprised many people around the world when photos of her new look surfaced online. Some mistakenly believed her condition had been cured, but her family clarified that it was a personal grooming decision, not a medical miracle. Even more heartwarming was what came next. Supatra found love. She married someone she described as the love of her life. The two shared photos on social media with Supatra smiling confidently, her face clean-shaven, radiating happiness. For someone who had once been mocked simply for how she looked, it was a powerful moment of validation, growth, and self-love. Today, Supatra continues to live a full life. She's studying at a technical college, staying active on social media, and using her story to inspire others to embrace their differences. Her journey from being bullied and misunderstood to becoming a symbol of resilience and positivity is nothing short of inspiring. Supatra. Sasuphan's life reminds us that our uniqueness is our strength and that true beauty has nothing to do with appearances. It comes from confidence, compassion, and the courage to be exactly who you are. Adam Pearson was born on January 6, 1985, in Croydon, London, alongside his identical twin brother, Neil. When Adam was just 5 years old, he hit his head, and a small bump that didn't go away led to a life-changing diagnosis: Type 1, a rare genetic condition that causes benign tumors to grow along the nerves. While Neil does not have the condition, Adam's diagnosis meant he would face physical changes for the rest of his life. As he grew, tumors began to develop more visibly on his face, affecting his vision and appearance. These changes brought relentless bullying and social rejection during his school years. He was often called cruel names and faced stares, whispers, and isolation. But rather than letting it define him negatively, Adam slowly developed a strong sense of identity and resilience. He studied business management at the University of Brighton and began working behind the scenes in television, producing for the BBC and Channel 4. But in 2013, everything changed when he was cast in the feature film Under the Skin, directed by Jonathan Glazer and starring Scarlett Johansson. The film explores themes of alienation and perception, and Adam's presence in it was not just powerful but symbolic, a real person with a visible difference playing a key role, not as a stereotype, but as a human being. That debut marked the beginning of his career in front of the camera. Adam went on to act in independent films like Chained for Life and A Different Man, in which he plays characters who confront questions of appearance, identity, and social bias. His performances have been praised for their authenticity, intelligence, and emotional depth. Outside of acting, Adam has built a respected reputation as a television presenter and public speaker. He's hosted several documentaries, including Adam Pearson, Freak Show, and The Ugly Face of Disability Hate Crime, exploring how society views and treats people with visible differences. Through these projects, Adam challenges viewers to rethink beauty, ability, and the meaning of normal. He has undergone dozens of surgeries to manage his condition, but he refuses to let it become the only story about him. My disability is the least interesting thing about me, he often says, reminding people that a person's worth isn't determined by appearance. Today, Adam Pearson continues to act, speak, and advocate for disability inclusion and representation. In the media, with humor, honesty, and determination, he has become a leading voice in changing how the world sees difference, not as something to pity or fear, but as something that belongs, unapologetically, in every space. Hrithik Roshan, born on January 10, 1974, in Mumbai, is known around the world for his incredible acting, dancing, and action roles. But there's something else about him that often catches attention, a small physical detail that became a part of his story: his double thumb. Hrithik was born with a condition called polydactyly, which gave him an extra thumb on his right hand. For many it might seem like a flaw or something to hide, but Hrithik never did. In fact, his extra thumb is visible in almost every film he's done. Growing up, however, it wasn't easy. In interviews, Hrithik has admitted that his thumb made him self-conscious as a child. He once said, "My thumb used to repel people in school. Kids would tease him, and he often felt awkward about it." But as he grew older and began working on himself, overcoming a stammer, building his physique, and preparing for a future in acting, he also learned to accept his double thumb as part of who he was, instead of hiding it. He embraced it. One of the most touching uses of this real-life feature appeared in his 2003 science fiction film Koi Milgaya. In the movie, the alien character Jadoo was designed with an extra thumb, Hrithik's own. This wasn't just a random detail. It was intentional. When fans asked him about it, Hrithik confirmed that the extra thumb on Jadoo was added to create a sense of familiarity between the alien and Rohit, his character. It was a small but powerful creative decision that added emotional depth to the story. Hrithik has also spoken about the deeper meaning behind embracing imperfections. On social media, he once posted a close-up of his thumb with the caption, "Beautifully imperfect. To all my friends who are ashamed of something about themselves, here's my reminder to you, that it's okay to be different. It's okay to be rejected for it. But what is not okay is to change yourself for the sake of fitting in." Today, Hrithik's double thumb is not seen as a flaw, it's seen as a symbol of confidence and authenticity. It's a part of the man who continues to break barriers, redefine masculinity in Indian cinema, and inspire millions with his openness and honesty. Moses Lan Jr., born in 1959 in Michigan, United States, a man known around the world as Mr. Elastic for his jaw-dropping physical ability to rotate his feet 180 degrees backward and walk entirely normally, even more comfortably, in that position. Depict Moses in his mid-60s with a healthy, active build, silver-streaked hair, and a calm, easygoing smile that reflects a life lived with confidence, resilience, and uniqueness. The scene is set on a bright autumn afternoon in a lively downtown area of Michigan. Moses walks down the sidewalk, his feet completely reversed, heels pointing forward and toes pointing behind it. His posture is straight, balanced, and relaxed. His movement is smooth, even graceful, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Crowds of pedestrians pause mid-step. Some people gasp and stare. A teenager fumbles to unlock their phone camera. A child's jaw drops as they tug on their parent's sleeve. A nearby street vendor nearly drops a cup of coffee. The mix of astonishment and admiration is palpable. Moses wears casual clothing, a lightweight zip-up jacket, comfortable jeans, and sneakers designed to fit his unusual stance. His backpack hangs loosely on one shoulder. With a rolled-up Guinness World Record certificate barely visible from a side pocket, he holds two records. One for the farthest distance walked with backward feet, and another for the fastest time to walk 20 meters in that position. The moment captures not just physical marvel but a deeper story of when Moses was a teenager. A fall during a rope climbing lesson led to the discovery of his hypermobility and excess of cartilage and elasticity in his joints that allowed this extreme flexibility. Rather than hiding it, Moses embraced it. What many would consider a deformity, he turned into a celebrated talent. Over the years he's appeared on shows like Ripley's Believe It or Not, Jimmy Kimmel Live, and Medical Incredible, always showcasing his talent with pride and good humor. In this image or scene, highlight the contrast between Moses's peaceful, composed presence and the whirlwind of public reaction around him. Include subtle storytelling details: a billboard in the background showing an old Ripley's poster, a child trying to imitate his stance, a tourist flipping through a Guinness World Records book with Moses's name inside. This is not just a depiction of a man walking backward, it's a celebration of human difference, of a life that turned an unusual trait into global recognition, and of a man who walks a path literally and figuratively that no one else can.